Human Sciences Research Council, the HSRC, and the SA Race Relations Institute, 60% of South African children have absent fathers, and more than 40% of mothers are single parents. Now, the issue of bad parenting or a lack of parental skills came under the spotlight following the death of 4 siblings who were burnt to death inside a house in Alexandra Township, north of Johannesburg. This whilst their mothers allegedly were out partying. Now the question is, where were the fathers during this tragedy? In the ideal world, a child needs to be raised by both parents, and in fact, father absence has become a critical social issue in South Africa. Well, to talk to us about this thorny issue of absent fathers, we're now joined from our Pretoria studios by Gender Activist Mbuyiselo Botha. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program. When we chat to you, there's always...
Well, thank you, Peter, for inviting me.
Yeah, when I chat to you, there's always, sadly, some issue of critical importance that we need to put on the table. And this statistic of 60% absent fathers, I can't think how we've survived so far on such horrific, terrible statistics.
Well, I think, Peter, it is a very sad state of affairs that you have these high numbers of absent fathers. And I think in your earlier statement, it's also important to actually acknowledge that, in the incident you referred to, as a society, we never ask how or where the fathers have been, because, Peter, and to your viewers as well, there is this disproportionate burden placed on women in our society, always, every time, without even asking the simplest question, but shouldn't we hold fathers accountable as well, Peter?
Yes, indeed. And the question is, do we know where they are? Do we know why the family unit has been destroyed in this way?
Well, we know where they are. They obviously are not taking responsibility. But we also know that, Peter, there are many reasons why there's dysfunctional families. There are issues historically in this country. You have had what apartheid has done, in terms of separating families, fathers as well. But we also know that, Peter, that the majority of us fathers, Peter, we ourselves had not been raised by fathers. As a result, there is this sense that if I have been abandoned, it becomes easier to abandon those that I profess to love as well, Peter.
So how do we turn this around? So, Okay, it looks like Mbuyiselo's lost us a little bit there. The earpiece, as you saw, dropping out of his ear. But we're talking about this statistic, and I'm hoping we can still get him back, though. We're talking about this alarming statistic. 60% of South African children have absent fathers. More than 40% of mothers are single parents. And just this week, we were talking to a woman who's a PhD, and she did her thesis on school violence, and she cited that one of the issues that she raised was about the absence of parents, and this allowed for violence in the parents. All right, okay, so I was hoping that we'll be able to go back to Mbuyiselo, who is starting to tell us that we know where these fathers are. We know that they choose to be absent, and he tried to offer some reasons why, some of them historical. But the situation is that we are in this dire position, and we're hoping that we be able to go back to him in a couple of minutes and just to get a little bit more of that story, because it has permeating circumstances right across. Well, it looks like we're going to have to try and get hold of him. We'll take a quick break in the meantime, and let's see what we can do in the meantime.